Greetings and welcome to the Dare to Create show with Mitzi Linton. We have a very special guest here with us today. This is Dr. David Carmos, and his doctorate is in allied health care. So tell us a little bit about that. And first of all, before we even get started on that, welcome, Dr. David. It's so wonderful to have you on Dare to Create. Tell us a little bit about... Oh.
Thank you. On Dare to Create.
Thank you. Tell us a little bit about your doctorate, first of all.
Well, basically, actually, back in the 60s, I was designing corrective physical education and therapy at Boston University, the School of Allied Health Sciences. And eventually, that's what my doctorate was in. Allied Health Sciences is a combination of several disciplines, including anything from physical education, corrective physical education. Back when I was teaching at Boston University, I taught for like 5 different departments: School of Nursing, Body Dynamics, Health Dynamics, Corrective Physical Education, and Phys Ed. And so it involves many disciplines. Personally, the way I work out, I do a combination of weights and cable exercises and yoga, a very specialized form of yoga, and called Karana Kriya. Most yoga teachers have never even heard of it. I started doing yoga in 1952, and so I've been doing it now 57 years. And I became vegetarian in 1955, and I've been vegan 47 years. And let's see, I claim 90% plus raw, but I keep it around 95. And often I don't eat anything other than raw. I do 1 meal a day. It's generally a salad, and it's not a gigantic one. And then I have a few natural snacks. Like right now I'm doing bananas. Like when I'm traveling, it's easy to have bananas, organic dried apricots, and some good fluids. And let's see.
Well, that's wonderful. So you are how young now?
How young? Let's see. Gosh. I'm 68 years young. I have a birthday coming up in about 10 days, maybe 9 days.
You look fabulous. You are in the greatest shape. Your physique is amazing, and you are in fabulous shape. You look like a little Mr. Universe here.
Wow, oh my God. Woo. I should carry you around with me. Actually, if you like, I'll show you one of my secrets here.
Yes.
Good.
So what are some of the secrets to this? I mean, you've shared about this diet that you eat and eating 1 meal a day. Well, gosh, how do you do that? And there must be a very chewy diet.
Yeah, actually, what I do I like to have a variety of colors in the like one of my favorite salads is will be like cucumber, celery, cilantro, tomato, and in some form of maybe medium green lettuce. A lot of people doing raw foods now are getting into doing like these dark greens, but they're very deep cleansers. And what a lot of people don't seem to realize is it's more than just changing your diet. Actually, what we tell people is get off your diet, get on a live it.
I love that. Get on a live it. Get off your diet. Get on a live it. Get on something that supports you living rather than... Because even the word diet has die in it.
Exactly. That's the point. And so, actually, I don't use that line too often because I wanted some things for my business partner, Dr. Miller, to have. And so I let him do that one. But I gave it to him years ago. And he just hooked into it. But it's really, when you think about it, it's important. Another thing people do is they think because they're doing... all raw, all vegan, they can just shovel it in. And people need to chew. A natural carnivore takes 3 or 4 bites and swallows, but their stomach acid is approximately 20 times stronger than human stomach acid. At least human stomach acid should be. And so I have this theory why people don't chew their food. I think it's because they remember hearing as children that too much mastication can cause blindness. So they don't chew their food. But, of course, some people tend to chew more than others, and they end up wearing glasses. But it's important to chew and eat slowly. I mean, I'll have a salad that it might be, say, in a bowl, say a plate 8 or 9 inches across, and it might be 1.5 inches high. It would take me 45 minutes to eat that thing.
So you're really chewing. Now, I have a question about protein, because some of the viewers might say, well, gosh, I didn't hear any protein in there.
It's always the first question. Where do you get your protein from? protein, usually followed by unqualified quoting. No, actually, one of the things I mentioned on the panel earlier was that it's more important to have fiber in your diet than protein. See, what most people don't realize is the way nutrition is based in our culture is not based on health. It's based on a cultural tradition and marketing. And see, if the truth were known, the human body doesn't absorb straight protein anyway. It absorbs amino acids. So if you put protein in, body has to go through what's called inversion. It takes the protein, breaks it down into amino acids, then takes the amino acids, creates its own protein. So why get it secondhand? Actually, another way we look at it, we look at people as being either vegetarian or secondhand vegetarians because we've eaten vegetarians. You know, actually, if you eat meat from an animal that's not a vegetarian, you take chances of getting sick. That's why it's not wise to eat, like, say, lion meat or tiger meat. It's too toxic. And that's why you have to be careful eating pig, because it's not a vegetarian. A pig will eat anything. And, but, you know, a cow, a steer, which is nothing more than a castrated bull, a lamb, goat, they're vegetarians.
That's fascinating, because when we're not following a vegetarian or a vegan diet, we're actually eating animals that are vegetarian. Now, I've been vegetarian for 20 years and vegan for 2 years, and I had never actually even thought about that. And so a question for you too is, do you think that a lot of the diseases that we have in our society today are caused by an excess of protein?
Yeah, you know, when you think about protein, I mean, protein is the end result. If you put a seed in the ground, you don't get a seed out. It goes through an evolutionary process, 7 stages. Seed dies to its former life, becomes a sprout. Out of a sprout, you get a shoot. From the shoot, becomes a stem. From the stem, becomes a leaf. And then further up, becomes a bud. And out of the bud becomes a flower. And out of the flower comes a seed. 7 stages. Almost everything in life, in nature, there are certain patterns nature has. One of them is 7 stages. You know, as the ocean waves are coming, I live right, I don't know, like a couple hundred feet from the ocean, and if you count, every 7th wave, as the tide is coming in, is going to be larger than the previous 6. And as the tide is going out, every 7th wave is going to be smaller than the previous 6. And it's just one of the patterns in nature. So when it comes to protein, to think that you eat protein to have protein, when you analyze it, see, unfortunately, we're programmed to just accept things, you know. And I mentioned earlier on the panel that it's like most people know more about their own automobile than they do their own body. And, you know, automobile has an oil filter, has an air filter. You have to put good quality fuel in. Nature's not stupid. She saw the way the automobile was designed. She designed the human body similarly. You know, in the human body we have an oil filter, which is called the liver. And we have a water filter, which is the kidneys. We have an air filter, which are the lungs. You wouldn't expect to run your car for 40, 50, 60 years and never get a tune-up and not put good fuel in.
So what do you, that's a great analogy. I love that. And I also, just before, I want to ask you a question about the tune-up, but I also want to say that 7 stages also makes me think of Shakespeare and As You Like It, because they say the 7 stages of the being, of the person, of the man, and they talk about that.